I send out a letter, but I'll write a little note on there and I'll send them out. Now, here's something that always amazes me. The amount of people that get a letter from me, take a photograph and then stick it up on Facebook.
Just look at how your industry does outreach.
Yes.
And just really standardize that and get the baseline and see how everyone is doing it. And then look how you can add your flair to it.
My God, we got Telegram, Voxer, Instant Messenger, Twitter. I've had people yell at me going, "Oh, I sent you a tweet and you didn't respond." I don't have all day to put up with that. Good morning. How you doing? This is me, Steve Sims, and Henry Sims. So as usual, we've got Clarity Morning with Sims Media, where you ask the questions, we run through the answers, also picking up different trends, traits, things that are going on. Last week, we actually were speaking about a few things, and we had one of the questions come up to us regarding CRMs and email programs, which is the best email program to get through. And then it also got slated with a lot of kind of like, oh, emails don't work and all that kind of stuff. First of all, you have to understand that the best platform out there is the one that works for you. You can put 10 people in a room and they could tell you 10 different things. But always, the best one for you is the one that works for you. For all of those people out there that says emails are dead, I remember speaking to Dean Jackson, who said that people always moan that emails are dead, but my mum's read every email I've ever sent her. So the bottom line of it is, are emails dead or is your content shit? That's the bottom line of it. You know, we can fluff that up and maybe put some captions in there to make that kind of like a little bit more delicate to your soyhood. But we need to focus on the fact that today is the messaging. It's not the platform. Now, if we look at the platforms that we had, I don't know, going old school now, the 90s, post, fax, the birth of email was coming along, but we had fewer ways that we could communicate. So each platform had more eyeballs. But today, my God, we got Telegram, Voxer, Instant Messenger, Twitter. I've had people yell at me going, "Oh, I sent you a tweet and you didn't respond." I don't have all day to put up with that. There's too many ways that we can actually reach out today. So let's run through which works. Henry, what are you finding?
The single answer that you can give to what works is it depends. And that's the answer that no one ever wants to hear. But I would say one of the most valuable contact pieces you can gain right now is still email, but also phone number. Just because of how much filters there are within the email world. You're always trying to get your deliverability good, make sure that you land in the inbox at the right time, all this stuff. But with text, they do have junk and they're getting a little more filters on it, but it's still way less than email. So the phone number is one of the strongest ways that you can call or even text someone and really make sure that it reaches them.
Yeah, I'm still a great fan of text. For a start, you got to understand that emails you buy, and when we talk about email clients, we're talking about things like MailChimp, Constant Contact. We're not talking about the CRM, like the Infusionsoft that will bleed them out as you need. We're talking about the mass mail, push the button, get it sent out, somewhat turkey shoot to people that are interested with you. If you put anything in there that's even slightly cheeky, or a picture in there that's slightly, I've had people say, "Oh, I put a picture of, just my kids running down." But because they were young kids, we got shot off because it was nudity, and they weren't nude. But it's those kind of things that the algorithms are telling their clients what they're going to allow through. Now, when you look at, say, for example, MailChimp, you pay one amount of money and you can usually, if you want to be stupid, email every single day. You can just email it out. When you do a text, most text campaigns, and my favorite one, we don't get paid by them, although we should, is Textaful. I'm a great fan of Textaful. I've worked with Textaful for many years. I've worked with, I think, probably about 7 or 8 of the others and kept on going back to Sam at Textaful. But you pay. And it ain't cheap. Depending on how many people you got on your thing, you can be doing like a couple of $100 every time you send out a text. But here's the thing that I have noticed. People answer texts faster than they open email. With email, the other downside you've got is your cell phone is yours. Your email is your company's. So if you're with Christie's, if you're with some travel group, if you're with some machinery firm, whatever company you're with, when you leave the company, 9 times out of 10, it's still your cell phone, okay? Because that's the one you've registered. So by me going and speaking at events and going, hey, text a word here in my text thread, and Corey's just come up with a question here. So I'm gonna help him out and kind of like give him that question. Let me see if I can bring it up. Corey said, how do you spell the text software? Textful. Text, T-E-X.
I think we lost your audio.
Sorry,
there we go.
Happened my computer or mute. Let me repeat that. Textful. The word text, iful.com. Text iful. That's the company I use. Now they have a great, and a lot of companies use this. Is not only Textful, so pick the one that you like. But in that, you can actually run through a flow chart. In fact, I'm going to tell you now, and you can scrub it off later. If you text the word SIMS, SIMS, to 33777, that's the word SIMS to 33777, you'll see the flow that I send you down. And it will ask you for your name. It will ask you for your email address. I'll get all of that. And it's very conversational. I know we spoke the other day about AI. This is a flow. And it will get you down to a conversation with me. So Textful is my favorite. But it also gets your email. But it also gets your location. Now, this may freak some people out from actually doing this. But when you text me, it's going to tell me what area of the country you're in. So if I'm coming into Florida and I'm doing a speaking gig, I can actually look through those numbers and see who's in Florida and only text them. It's actually a bit freaky for that. But here's the main thing. I own the information now, other than you renting your email. So I like texting. What other ways of doing it? I know you've used ManyChat, Henry, and there's a lot of people using WhatsApp Messenger. What are other good ways to get out there?
So a lot of the major ones we know of.
Did your mic go off?
I don't think so. Can you hear me okay?
Houston, we seem to be having problems. I have got nothing from you, Henry. I can't hear you at all. You're muted. Let me play here for a second and see if I can get you unmuted because this is too good to waste.
Can you hear me?
Nah. Yeah. Folks, can you... Corey says he can hear the pair of us. Okay. But I can't hear... This is weird. All right, so go ahead, Henry.
Can you hear me now? I want to make sure that you've got your audio going at least. Okay, so you can hear me?
I can hear you. I've literally just pulled out all the headset and everything. I'm sorry for the
Perfect
standard, but yeah, carry on, mate.
Okay, that works. So one extra bonus on the text is it's great to reach people, but like you were saying, it's very conversational. When we get a text, we expect a certain interaction. When we go to check our inbox on our email, we expect a different interaction. We expect different types of contact. So that's what I really like about text is it's more casual and conversational than just email. But there's lots of methods of reaching your ideal audience. And even old school ones that are still heavy amongst a lot of friends of ours. And I know that you've used for years, like direct mail. Using that is a great one. And it's you can tailor it to your industry. But we were a client of ours recently. He's heavy on direct mail. Our buddy Roland, he's heavy on direct mail. They've been using it for years. Like they used it when it started out and was really big and like one of the mainstream marketing methods. And they haven't stopped. because they've just still been able to make it work. So the text is great. It's casual, it's conversational, but you've got email, you've got the direct mail, you've got the messenger bots like we were talking about. There's direct messaging through social media platforms, just reaching out to people through there. And that's been that's an interesting one to me, because I think most of the time we think of Instagram, where people automate and blast out their messages, but then at the same time they do so on LinkedIn, or they at least personalize it a little bit through going through LinkedIn's premium, where they can go to the sales navigator, find people who are within the industry, tailor their results and reach out that way, which is good. But I've seen that being a bit of a struggle, because people now are expecting those messages like they are an email. And so that's why some of those other methods I prefer more, like text, just because they're all great for reaching someone and owning data, but you have to make it a conversation. And that's where we have to try and think about, how are we approaching it? And not just like, what does our industry do, but how can we actually start the conversation with our client? Do you want to touch on your method of direct mail with when you'd go to hotels and such for your clients? Because I think that is a good one.
But, let's pick on Roland for a second, okay? Roland does well with text. He does well with videos. He does well with direct mail. And there's the answer. What platform is best for you? All of them, okay? So I still send out emails. I still send out videos. I still send out text. But I also add mail. And this is what really gets me. I send out a letter. Now, I'll go to a hotel. I travel a fair bit, as you know. And every time I hit a hotel, I'll always go, hey, I need 50 envelopes. I need 100 envelopes. I've got piles of them around here. And I'll mishmash the letterheads with the post. And you'll get something from the Waldorf Astoria in Bangkok. And then you'll get something from the Mandarin Oriental. And it'll mishmash them, but I'll write a little note on there, or as you know, I've had you write those notes and I've had George write those notes, and I'll send them out. Now, here's something that always amazes me. The amount of people that get a letter from me, take a photograph and then stick it up on Facebook. Steve sent me this letter, because it's unorthodox. One, because it's on hotel stationery, but two, because I sent a letter. Now, isn't it amazing that we're getting excited that we're sending a letter? But here's one of the things, and we speak about this within Sims Media a ton, is the emotive trigger that your brand creates, the experience that it generates in your mind and body. Now, when we send out a letter, people are straight away triggered that the last time they got a letter, it was either a bill, which in 9 times out of 10 is, or B, it's an invite. And if it's handwritten, it's personally an invite. It's like your birthday cards, come to my wedding, something like that. So when we get a letter and it's handwritten, we're excited, because we know that the local electric board are not going to handwrite a letter to us. We know the landlord's not going to write that. So we're excited. We've already got that apprehension, that excitement of that letter. And then you open it up, and then it's just something quirky enough just to say, hey, was thinking of you. Have a great day, Steve. My letters have never been long, but they've been very impactful. And so you should be doing more of that. Whatever you're doing, do more of it, but do the other stuff you're not. And you say about the phone number. I think what we've got to focus on here is, who owns your client bank? Who owns your database? So if you've got 5,000 people on LinkedIn, contact those 5,000 people. Go, hey, occasionally I'd love to send out a letter. Would you please furnish me with your address? Or go to this and text this number to XYZ and start building it up there. But become the owner of all of your client and contact data. And then rotate. Send them a text. Send them a letter. Send them an email. Send them a video text. just rotate it. It's like your body when you work out in a gym. They say shock your system, don't they? Shock your muscles. Mm-hmm. If you keep doing the same weights all the time, eventually there'd be no further growth. So you have to shock it. And that's the same within marketing and branding. You need to show the people that you're dealing with that you think differently. And more importantly, you think of them. So send them an email, send them a newsletter, send them all of those kind of things. But every now and then, just do a video on this thing we have here and send them a video text. You know, I always do that for birthdays and things. Whenever I see the post, I grab the stuff and I send it out on post. So try them all to stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a good little tool would be to just look at how your industry does outreach.
Yes.
And just really standardize that and get the baseline and see how everyone is doing it. And then look how you can add your flair to it to make sure that it stands out on top of that. Because they're using the channels and the platforms that work, but they're all probably using it in the same exact way. So if you can just tailor that and stand out from that and do it creatively, like you were saying, you weren't sending out your own branded postcards that had printed text on it. It was ripped out magazines. It was postcards from different hotels with personal handwriting on it. That stands out way different than a lot of other direct mail methods. So look at what everyone in your industry and space is doing and standardize that process. And then look at how you can tweak that to stand out and make it your own version. And another one on the text. We love how casual and quick it reaches people, but at the same time, like you were saying with video, text doesn't always get the full tonality across and can be misinterpreted. And so one of the things that we love using is Voxer, because you don't have to look pretty or anything like that, but you can send a message to someone. It's like a little virtual walkie-talkie. Voxer's VOXER. But you can send an audio message to someone and it doesn't have to interrupt them. It's not calling them when they're busy or anything, but you can leave a message that gets your tonality across to them so that it's the same text, but it's delivered differently. And so people get more of a feel when they get that message versus just a text message. And so we've been huge users of Voxer for years and absolutely love it. And that's one of the reasons why we like it, is because there's more personality to it. There's more connection to it. There's other little benefits, like it's not disruptive of who's on the other side if we're trying to cold call or whatever, but we get to send them our message with our tonality as well. But I know a lot of people don't want to. We have it pretty easy that we don't have to do much to look good, but I know a lot of people worry about their appearance. So with Voxer, at least, you don't have to. You just get to send a message whenever you need.
Amy's just asking, can you send a text on Voxer? So what Henry's talking about, Voxer's made it very easy. Like if I send you a message or a text, I can click the record button and record it and send it to you, which is the same as Voxer. But Voxer just makes it easier. It's got a button there. And you go, hey, Amy, how you doing? I just want to get you the message over. You can also text. You can also post videos, pictures. You can do all the usual things. But I know for us, within my coaching clients and within Sims Media, all of our client interaction is done through Voxer. And through Voxer Pro, I think you can even you can withdraw messages and you can do groups. You can do them in group settings and put out big groups. I know Ari Mizell has a coaching program where part of his program is every day or every Monday, you get a Voxed message from him on something that he's focused on. So we like Voxer for that. So Amy, yes, you can text, video, you can do all the same things, but it puts it in a community. I don't know if Telegram, I know a lot of people are jumping on board Telegram, but I don't know if Telegram has the ability for voice messages. I don't know. I should check that.
I think so. I think Telegram has a lot of similarities with Slack, And I know that Slack, you can have audio messaging back and forth. But from that direct outreach perspective, text is fantastic, but so are all the other platforms. It's just a matter of looking at how your industry uses them to make sure that you don't blend in with the rest of them, because then you'll make that platform work for you.
And you've got to focus on communicate, don't sell. How many people get these links and messages? Oh, I saw your thing. You should buy my course. You know, there's no relationship building. There's no communication. If you're communicating with your people, communicate with them. If you have something to sell, then communicate, talk about what the problem is, and then reveal them a solution. Don't just go, hey, you're on my list, buy 2 of these. So people don't like to be sold to, but they like to buy. Okay, that's the real thing here. So we're going to wrap this up now. As usual, if you've got a subject you want us to rant on, then put it in the messages. But here's the real thing. Here's the crux of Corey's question. Which is the best mail program or outreach program to get to the clients that you've got or you want? And the answer quite simply is all of them. If you want to stand out, you first of all have to stand up. And people can get nervous about that. Again, as Henry was saying, look at the standardized thread of how your industry does it, and then dare to do something different. Okay? All right, folks. Henry, always a pleasure to see you, buddy. I see all your coffee cups ready, so he's going to dash off and have his espresso. All the best to you, folks. Again, if you want us to speak about something, stick it in the comments, and we'll chat with you next week on Clarity with Sims Media. Bye for now.
See ya.